My name is Larry Lewis. I'm an NCO here. I've been with Mentor Tech for about 9 years now, and I've been an NCO for about 7. Can you hear me now? All right, I guess I should start over. My name is Larry Lewis, and I am an MCO with Mentor Tech. I've been with the organization for about 9 years now, and I've been an MCO for about 7. I'm with the Texas Tech Police Department, and I run the communications.
My name is Liz Inskip-Polk, and I'm an MCL. I've been with Mentor Tech, I think 2 years now, so you can rise fast. January is designated as National Mentor Month. It is our privilege to welcome you to our Annual Mentor Appreciation Luncheon. Each year, Mentor Tech hosts this event to recognize those of us who serve as mentors and assist our students as they strive to discover and realize their full potential. We play a major role in their retention and in their graduation rates. Although it may not be immediately apparent, our efforts are proven to positively impact the lives of our students. According to the website mentoring.org, mentoring at its core guarantees young people, our students, that there is someone who cares about them, assures them they are not alone in dealing with day-to-day challenges, and makes them feel like they matter. Research confirms that quality mentoring relationships have powerful positive effects on young people in a variety of personal, academic, and professional situations. Ultimately, mentoring connects a young person to personal growth and development and social and economic opportunity. As Corey often says, Mentor Tech literally stands between the entrance and the exit of the university. Through our efforts, students are provided pertinent information and access that strengthens and enhances their academic experience. Statistics indicate that young adults who were at risk of falling off track but who had a mentor are 78% more likely to volunteer regularly. They are 90% more likely to express an interest in becoming a mentor themselves, and they are 130% more likely to hold leadership positions. So never fear, we do make a difference.
Simply stated, Mentor Tech matters. Our efforts are important. It's easy for us to understand the power of our influence and the ability to impact lives of our students we mentor. To us, we may just be a voice of experience, listening ear, or a dependable ride to the grocery store. But to them, it's much more. The advice we offer our proteges, regarding their academic journeys, career options, or personal relationships, may help them to shift paradigms and adjust their perspectives. The words of encouragement and comfort we offer when they encounter difficulties, experience disappointment, or loss may help to ease their pain. In times of accomplishment and triumph, we cheer them on. In times of struggle, defeat, we remind them that their failures are not people. We are the reassuring voices as they meander through the dense fog of some of their most important times of their lives. Our proteges not only listen to our words, but they also pay attention to our actions. We are their examples. The more vulnerable we are with them, the more vulnerable they are with us. Our persistence teaches them to persist. Mentoring is one of the most powerful things we can do as professionals. As we support our students, we broaden our network of our support as well. Today, as we pause to enjoy the meal, speaker, and interacting with one another, let's remember that there's more work to be done. This event is designed to provide us with encouragement, motivation, and support so we may continue to help our students. This event is to serve as a reminder that our efforts matter. It is to remind us that we must make a difference. We applaud each of you for your service and look forward to a fantastic semester together. Now, I would like to introduce Brandon Roundtree, our guest speaker.
Where's Brandon at? There you go,
Oh,
Brandon.
you're
Hello, everyone. I'm here today to express my appreciation for my mentor, Derek Virginia Derek, who was also a mentor to another protege, Laura, who was absent due to class, so I'll be speaking on her behalf in her absence. Derek and I, we were paired together my freshman year last spring. I remember in a couple of weeks, he reached out to me through text to meet face to face. At first, I was nervous, as I am right now, because I was ready to meet the person who I knew nothing about besides what was listed in his bio. Then I realized I suddenly became anxious because he was a guy that was on the same path as me that I would like to be on once I graduate. With me changing my major from petroleum engineering to bio pre-med, I was clueless to how I need to prepare myself to become a medical school student. That was until Derek came into my life with all the answers. Derek completed his 4 years of undergrad and is now in graduate school doing scientific research, correct? Ever since we met, he has been giving me advice about research, feedback on what classes to take, and also informed me about research opportunities that will help me in the future and also look good on my resume. I also got the chance to meet his wife, who is currently in medical school, which was a great opportunity for me to ask questions and receive advice about the MCAT and how to prepare myself for it. Let me not forget, they also treated me for lunch at Side Pepper. And I'm gonna say that I value Derek's taste buds that day because that was my first time eating Thai food. But I value everything about Derek because he's a great inspiration and a great mentor. Thanks, Derek.
Let me give Brandon another hand. I'm Corey Collins, the Director of Mentor Tech, and I just want to say thank you to each of you for being here today, for taking time to come out. It's always a highlight of the year when after the holidays we're able to come back together and start a new semester. During the break, prior to the break, the staff and I spent a great deal of time reviewing what has transpired in the past semester and planning for putting the final touches on the upcoming semester. And as we reviewed the interactions that you post regarding you and your proteges, as well as the comments that we received, interactions, feedback we received from your proteges, it is evident that, as was articulated earlier, that you really are making a difference. And so, to each and every one of you mentors, we thank you and we so greatly appreciate you. I would like to extend an appreciation to you on behalf of Dr. Paul Frazier, who is the Associate Vice President of the Division of Institutional Diversity, Equity, and Community Engagement, and Dr. Juan Munoz, who is our Senior Vice President, as well as Associate Provost. Both of them had obligations that prevented them from being here today, but they asked that I express their appreciation to you as well, and to reiterate the fact that without you, our mentoring program does not exist, and so they greatly appreciate you as well. At this time, I would like for all of the mentor cluster leaders to stand, please. There are about 32 of them. 31 mentor cluster leaders. And they are literally extensions of our 5-person staff. With the growth that we've experienced, would you please give them each a hand? How can you see, like someone did 1 week, so without their help, we couldn't do what we do because there are more mentors in our program than ever before, so we greatly appreciate them, as well as our Protege Advisory Committee. Most of them are in class and couldn't be here today, but they actually are extensions as well and work with the students. The staff, Cindy DeAnda, who is the unit coordinator that works with you, specifically Kabira Abuye, who is a newlywed. It gleams now, I don't know what it was. As well as, she works with our proteges, as well as Quita Whitfield, who is our senior business assistant, and Isaac Colmanero, who is serving our country right now. He is a reservist and he has drill this weekend. But collectively, it is our goal and our mission to assist you in assisting our students. As I mentioned, this is a record year for our program. As of this morning, we have 683 students who are participating in the program, which is a record. As well as 322 mentors, which is also a record. Reagan, if my math is correct, that means that this year we have 1,005 people. 1,005 people. Whew, that's a lot. As I was talking to Coach Stone earlier and sharing that Felicia Martin and I first came up with this idea and pitched the idea to the chancellor at the time to initiate this program, we had no idea that we would grow to the size that we are. We just wanted to help a few students. And as we think back collectively and look at how far we've come, and some of you mentors in here have been a part of the journey the entire 14 years, it's amazing to us. Our very first Mentor Tech banquet was in this room. And if you've been to the banquet, you know that we couldn't do it. In fact, if all of the mentors were able to be here today, we wouldn't be able to fit you all here. So we certainly do appreciate you. It is also my custom at this point of the year to share with you how your proteges performed academically this past semester. As you know, Mentor Tech is a retention program. It is our goal to help students to stick, and then we want them to graduate and go on and do what they are passionate about. So this past fall, we had 64 students with 4.0. We had 128 with GPA of 3.5 to 3.99. We had 146 students with between 3.499 and 3.0. We had 102 with 2.999, 2.5. We had about 69 that were 2.0 to 2.499, and we had about 105 students that didn't do so well. All 105 of them have been coming to meet with Kabira. Their job is, at this point, we have visits with them to talk with them about their performance, and we're trying to get as many of them as possible to come in so we can hopefully make some adjustments and help them to realize some things, kind of fine-tune things to go forward and be successful. 57 students on the president's list and 128 of them on the dean's list. So please give your students a hand. We ask that you attempt to have conversations with them about their grades. I ask that you push past, it's okay, push a little harder to get them to really talk to you about how they did, what their goal GPA is for the semester, and ask them what strategies they're going to put in place to address those things. A couple of announcements on your table. There are some cards that I've been asked to share with you. The president, the provost, our division, and several other units on campus are actively participating in the African American History Month activities. There are a number of them that are scheduled. These two are, we thought might be of specific interest to you. Entertainment icon and civil rights activist Harry Belafonte will be here in Lubbock on our campus on Tuesday, February 16th, 7 p.m. in the Allen Theater. And then on Thursday, February 25th, Dr. Cornell West, who was our banquet speaker a few years back, He will be here as well. Those events are free, no cost. This is the last year, we're told this is the last year that Harry Belafonte will be traveling. He is 87 years old. And so this is the last year he'll be traveling and touring. So pretty much a once in a lifetime opportunity to hear him speak. The tickets are free, but you must acquire them from the Cross Cultural Academic Advancement Center on our campus in Doak Hall, room 101. They will be made available starting February the 1st. It's a first come, first serve situation. There's limited space in the Allen, and so don't wait, get them quick. Now it's my privilege to introduce our speaker for today. Coach Tom Stone is the fourth head coach on the soccer team here at Texas Tech. He has transformed the Red Raiders into one of the top programs in the Big 12 Conference during his tenure, but nationally as well. Texas Tech has been ranked in the top 25 at the conclusion of each of the last 3 seasons. In his 9 seasons with the Red Raiders, he has amassed 108-58-21 record, including 4 NCAA postseason appearances and the Red Raiders' first ever Big 12 Conference championship this past season. Tech is just one of 2 Big 12 programs to advance the NCAA championship in the past 4 seasons, and the only one to move past the opening round each year during that span. Tech is 6-3-1 all time in the NCAA championship under Coach Stone, and made their first ever Sweet 16 appearance in the 2014 season. The Red Raiders have won 64 matches in the last 4 seasons, the most among Big 12 programs during that span. That success has pushed Texas Tech to 4 consecutive NCAA championship appearances, a first for a program that had not previously advanced to postseason in its existence until 2012. As a player, Coach Stone may be most remembered for his game-winning goal in the 1986 National Championship match that helped Duke win its only NCAA title with a 1-0 victory. Coach Stone was just a junior at the time when he scored that match's lone goal, finding the open net in the 46th minute of his 16th goal of the season. He was later named Offensive Most Valuable Player for the match. In his 4-year career at Duke, Coach Stone was an All-Atlantic Coast Conference selection 3 times, while also setting the Duke record for most NCAA tournament goals in a career in game winners in a single season. Coach Stone also was captain of the 1987 squad and still remains among the top 10 on the school's careers points chart. When not coaching, Coach Stone has served as an analyst for various television networks, covered NCAA College Cup and World Cup. He has worked as a lead soccer analyst for both CSTV and Fox Sports, while also joining ESPN for its coverage of the 2003 Women's World Cup. Coach Stone also has written guest columns for various soccer websites. He and his wife, Lindsay, live here in Lubbock with their sons, Leighton, Landry, and their daughter, Lily. Would you please help me welcome to the podium Coach Tom Stone.
That was quite a billing. I'm not sure after turning 50 last weekend if I enjoyed thinking back to 86 and how many people in this room weren't even born yet. Hearing your protege speak, it really reinforced what I hoped I would find coming in here. I'm going to get to some of the things that I want to cover, but that pretty much summed it up. What Derek has meant to this young man and how impressive Brandon was standing up here speaking about it. And we're all thinking, God, what an impressive young man. Then he drops the and I'm probably going to be a doctor thing on us. And I can hear everybody go, huh? Good looking kid, smart too. So when you hear him talk about it, you also, if you were paying close attention, which I know you were, you get the feeling that the bond was what this thing was all about. And that's what one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was, and then he stole all my thunder. Which is great, because that's exactly what a mentorship should be. Hearing about the history, 14 years to get to this point. What was your first enrollment, first year? 46 students. Okay, I know a little bit about that, because what you guys heard was what all has been happening now in the last few years here with Texas Tech Soccer. But if any of you guys have been here for a while, you might recall that the Texas Tech Soccer team in 2007, when my staff and I got here, were ranked 303 out of 331 teams. See, unfortunately in women's soccer, they actually rank every stinking team. Like, just stop at 100. Let us all just be 100 plus. No, 301. So Gerald Myers talked me into taking this job, and he didn't have to work too hard because I've been coaching this women's pro soccer league, the first one we ever had. So in my opening game there's 20,000 people. We fill up the lower bowl of Georgia Tech's football stadium. A helicopter flies in, drops off the game ball. We got celebrities everywhere. Right behind me is Evander Holyfield, the champ. Wow. It's Atlanta, Georgia. And in 3 years, we blew through too much money, and next thing you know, that league wasn't around anymore. So now I'm looking for a job, and Gerald Myers says, I know you're from Texas. I'd just like to come and restart our women's soccer program. Well, right before the league folded, I got married, and my wife had a baby. So I wasn't really going to wait around and see if this women's pro league started up again. I needed a gig. And I'm from Texas. I had relatives that went here, and I always loved the idea of Texas Tech, but I'd never been here. So I got here, interviewed, loved it, met everybody, took the job, and then I found out how bad the team was. Because as you all know, if you're wondering how you're going to pay for rent, you don't really care how bad the team is. So our first year, I get these girls together, and I never met any of them. It kind of reminded me of you guys talking about 46 people, and we've come 14 years. And I introduced myself to these girls, and I said, now ladies, we have 2 weeks to get started for this season. And since I don't know any of you, I refuse. I was talking so good about you, Brandon, and you missed it because you went to get your food. Sorry. Somebody can tell you how impressed we all were. And I said, I don't know any of you guys, so I refuse to believe that we could possibly be the worst team in the Big 12. Since I don't know you, I refuse to believe that. And this is a little mind trick here, so mentors, take note of this. Because what they did was they voted in the preseason. They called the coaches poll, and all the coaches vote to see who's going to finish first through last. And they had us pick last. And I was a little irritated because I got hired before the vote, and evidently they didn't think that was going to matter. We were going to be last whether I was here or not. So I blew it up, made a big poster, I put it on the wall, said, young ladies, I'm introducing myself. Literally, we have 2 weeks to get started. I didn't get any spring training in. They'd already gone home for the summer when I got the job. So I said, all right, ladies, here's the deal I'm going to promise you. If you will refuse to accept the fact that you're the worst team in the league, and this is the trick I'm giving you right here, watch this carefully, sleight of hand. If you will refuse to believe that you're the worst team in this league, and I promise you, I guarantee you, on my entire soccer career, you will not finish last. See, I set the bar like 1 below last. See, so they're all like, yeah, we're not going to finish last. He's right. So, you know, keeping the bar right there above last is, you could show progress. So these young Red Raiders were feisty. We got them fit. We got them proud. We got them a little bit angry about how everybody thought of them. And they played their literal hearts out. And going into the last game of the season, we were tied for 4th place, and we had 5 Big 12 victories. Now keep in mind, we had 2 Big 12 victories in 10 years. We had 5 in this one season. So now I have to continue this sleight of hand because they really think they're good. And you know what? They weren't. Because what was in their heart and what was in their mentality and what was in their desire to be competitive is what kept us in all these games. So towards the end of the season, we get Nebraska coming in, and every single one of them is like 5'10", 165 pounds, corn-fed, big, tall, strong women. You know, it's like they took the linebackers, put a ponytail on them, and put them on the soccer team. They won the Big 12, Southwest Conference in the Big 12 8 times. They were ranked 15 in the country. And they're coming in here to play us, and we're playing an inside Fuller track, which is a really small field, which we like, because you can protect a small field when you're not that fast. So we did have a big heart, but we weren't real speedy, so the small field was good. So at the end of the game, it's tied 0-0, you know, everybody's going crazy, and we're all excited. So we take our best player, and we put her up front at the last minute of the game, or last few minutes, and in soccer, college soccer, if you score in overtime, game's over. It's sudden death, right? You score, you win. So we put Brittany Harrison up front, we serve this free kick, she goes up over everybody, heads it in, game over, we beat the number 15 team in the country, and all of the fans rush out onto the field and dogpile our team. Now, my assistant coach was the same guy heading the pro league, and I turned to Aaron, his name is Aaron, I said, Aaron, you do realize 38 people just rushed the field. So that's where we started. You had 46, we had 38. But just like our team, and just like this program, once belief starts creeping in, it starts to get traction. It starts to catch hold of whatever it is that you're up to. And so what I thought I would not do here is come lecture or give advice on how to be a mentor, because you've been through the program. You guys have been mentors for years and years, and I might say something that's not even in your curriculum and mess it all up. That's not my role here. My role is to, first of all, thank you on behalf of Texas Tech Athletics and our university for the incredible job that you're doing. And this is what struck me. It's 2016, and what is it now? It's all about me. I don't mean me, Tom. I mean, it's all about me. Everything now seems about me and me and me and Twitter and Instagram and look at me and selfie me and I'm taking myself here and I'm buying this and I need a promotion. I've worked here 3 days, but I should be getting paid more. It's me, me, me. And then we've got 336 or 340 of you that have said, you know what? I may have a wife and a kid and a mortgage and a job and grandkids and friends and tech games and hopefully now soccer games and everything else you're going to go do, but I'm going to take time out of me, which everyone else, doesn't seem to do much anymore, and I'm going to put it into someone else. You know what? That's just not the norm anymore. I wish it was. I think my parents' generation was probably more like that. But that's not the norm anymore. So consider yourselves, mentors, way out of the norm. Because I know, as someone who recruits 16-year-olds for a living, when that phone rings, and I look at it, and my wife's over here, and my kids go like that, and there's homework, and the dog, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And sometimes when your life's that busy, you do have to stop and remind yourself how amazing it is that you always answer that phone, that you send that text preempted. You guys set up lunch at Thai Pepper, which, by the way, if you haven't been to Thai Pepper, don't miss out on that. So my first thing I want to do besides thank you was recognize how out of the norm you are and how your unselfish desire to help somebody else get further, not yourself, although this I know has some good feelings in it, but you're helping someone else get further in life, how that is just an incredible aspect of what you do. And we all thank you for that. You are truly special people to take that on, because I'm assuming nobody's mentoring a family member or someone that works for them. They're mentoring a complete stranger in many cases, someone that's just signed up, wants your advice and help. So that was one. Second thing that I want to talk about, and I know you have probably talked about this or you think about it, is the whole reap what you sow concept. Now that goes back a few thousand years. That's biblical, as we all know. You reaping what you sow must be one of the most rewarding things that you get to deal with. And I'm really envious of that, but also I can understand it, because players that come through our program, many times, the relationship aspect of it doesn't really blossom until they're gone, until they appreciate what they've had when they were here, until they're coming back with their family and friends, until they miss it. And so when you are planting these seeds, I want to encourage you, in case any of you have encountered, this kid is not listening to me. She does not want to hear about, that's the wrong guy. He does not want to hear about you shouldn't be there or you should work harder. They just don't want to listen. And there's a certain age bracket that you might even be thinking, like I'm starting to wonder now, like, I wonder if they're not listening to me because I'm so out of touch. Because I'm not cool anymore. At 49, I was a cool soccer coach. Now I'm 50. And now I'm worried. Girls will be like, you got a younger brother or something? You can coach us? But I have the hippest boss in college athletics, Judy Henry, so that keeps us all young in our office. But this whole part about reaping what you sow, to be encouraged that it may not be the time that student is at Tech. It may not be the time that student takes his or her first job. It may be way down the road. And you may not ever even know that what you sowed was finally brought to fruition, that fruit finally came to bear. Because I can tell you, when we were, hadn't won a Big 12 game in 8 years, and going through that first season, I relied on every mentor I had ever even thought of. And things were rushing back to me from 10 years earlier. Like, you can't, hit a player. No, I knew that. I knew that wasn't allowed. The point I'm making about this thing is patience in what you do, and the reality that the seeds that you're planting may take a long time. And I know, because I'm a coach, you may think, oh man, last night on that phone call, I gave the best Newt Rockney, We Are Marshall speech. Bob Knight would have been jealous. I was throwing chairs. I got through to my protege, and he is going to absolutely kill it next semester. It's going to be awesome in class, or whatever the topic was. Because as coaches, we do the same thing. I'll walk out and be like, we're winning this game 8-0. That was the best, We Are Marshall they have ever heard. And then at the end of the season, I always ask the players, do an after-action review, and I say, okay, girls, what went right? What was the turning point? What worked? It's easy to have meetings to go, what's wrong, what didn't work, who didn't you like, what player didn't you like, which coach do you like the best? I mean, we can do all that. But what we do is we say, tell us what worked. And I'm shocked at how few times they ever say these speeches that I thought we gave that were phenomenal. It's never that moment. But then we get feedback like, you know what it was? It was the day that you took the reserves and put them in front of the whole starting team and told them how important they were to our future. That was the day that we became a team. Like, are you serious? I was so frustrated that you starters weren't respecting them that I was kind of like trying to shame you guys. You're telling me that's what turned the team? And they're like, yeah. And that same thing can happen to you because you will have a protege who it is all about grades, career, structure, interview, how do I do my resume, who can I meet, who's my network, and you spend 80-90% of your time leading them. And all your information is fantastic. But there's one conversation in there that talks about their parent or a sick friend or a relationship that didn't go right or a bad day or just something. And out of your mind, you pull something that your parent, grandparent, your mentor, somebody shared with you, you just do it out there. And 5 years later, when that young lady or that young man needs that, that's going to grow. And they may never call you, but the ones that do or text you, it'll like break you. You're like, oh. And I've had a few of those moments, thankfully. You know, we graduated a young lady from here last year named Connor Williams, who to this day, I cannot tell you her whole story because that's a whole separate speech, but to this day will just bring a whole room to tears. Because she came here broken, she came here addicted, she came here a mess. And she graduated pre-med and is a Christian counselor and volunteers down at every shelter that Lubbock's ever even had and is one of the most impressive graduates we've ever had. And let me tell you, I'd love to be like, I was her mentor. She had about 50. She had about 50 mentors. But when I got the text from her, often her life, her husband, and her family, and her career about how appreciative she was. And then at the end she said, if it wasn't for Texas Tech, I wouldn't be alive. Well, those are the texts you don't forget. So that's a university, that's a culture, that's a whole, that's a whole village taking care of her, which is part of what you're doing. So the second thing I want to encourage you on is, if you don't get immediate gratification, it's coming. And you may never hear it, but if you're as unselfish as you clearly are, because this is what you're giving your time and your life to, then you don't need that text to reinforce it, but just remember, it's probably going to surface for you. Last but not least, and this is the part about Brandon and Derek, that I think I came in hoping was going to be the most valuable, and now I'm sensing and clearly I'm excited that it is. And that is the bond that you can create with your proteges that I really encourage you to be a lifelong bond. Don't let them get away if they leave the program or if they graduate, whatever, without having their birthday, knowing their address, having some way on a cell phone, whatever, to stay in constant contact with that person. Because you never know when that person's really going to need you in 10 years. Or maybe you're going to really need them in 5 years. Who knows? But the bonding part of this deal has got to be the most rewarding for you, and it's probably the foundational piece of this entire thing. And it was cemented right there. I mean, these guys are talking about lunch and talks and guidance. They weren't talking about, he took my ACT for me, or he helped me with my homework, or he set me up with the right professor. It's all about that relationship, and we know that in our sport. Because when you coach young ladies and young men, and somebody was saying it about college age, could there be a more important time period to be investing in somebody's life than 18 to 22? Because here's the thing, and I know you guys know this because you're all part of their career advancement as well, is that gap between being ready, I don't mean smart enough, I mean ready to leave college and be in the real world. That gap was here, and now it's here. And that's not these young kids' fault. That's what we're doing to them as a society, as a culture. The gap is so much bigger. And to think there's 1,000 people total involved in making that gap go from here to here for our Texas Tech students, well, that gap is not going to reduce if it's just facts and just lecturing and just seminars. It's going to go from here to here if that relationship piece is what you're really in it for. So I can tell you are, but I was going to talk about that anyway because I had it written down there as number 3, so I couldn't skip it. The speech would have been too short. So thank you for all you're doing for Texas Tech. Thank you for all you're doing for these proteges. And remember, if you don't see the immediate response to what incredible things you are doing, it's coming. It's growing. And we as an athletic department and certainly everyone at Tech, thank you for all you do for our young men and young women. Appreciate it.
I'm really short. As a token of our appreciation for today, we would like to present you with this little gift
Thank you.
from Mentor Tech and the mentors and proteges.
Appreciate it.
If everyone can help me give him a round of applause. I don't know about his game day speech, but that one sure did inspire me. First, before I go on to my little spiel about how I feel about you guys, I want you to notice that y'all been strategically seated today with your clusters. So if you haven't, well, most of you, so sorry, Gary. But if you're wondering what your mentor cluster leader looks like, or if your mentors look like, they're right in front of you guys. So, you know, when I'm recruiting, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, I get told is, I don't think I'll be a good mentor, or I don't think I have enough time to be a good mentor. And I always have the same answer. In order to be a good mentor, you just have to be you. You've lived, you've worked, you've loved, you've failed at times, and most importantly, you've all succeeded at something. And you tell them your story, you're honest, and sometimes you're vulnerable. Because most of the proteges in the program, all they want to know is that they're going to be okay. That at the end of the day, everything is going to be okay. You remind them constantly that they are cared for, that they're wanted here, and they have somebody that they can lean on. You are their cheerleader. And if you're lucky enough, they soon become your cheerleader. And if you're really lucky, they become your family. And I'll tell a lot of parents that when we're talking to them about their child, is that Mentor Tech is a family. And we care about their successes. Their successes are our successes, and their failures are our heartbreak. So in order to be a good mentor, you just have to have a good heart, a dedication, and a little patience with some of them. Corey already had y'all do this, but since some of y'all came in late, I'm pretty sure because of parking, if my mentor cluster leaders could please stand one more time. I would like to thank you personally for jumping on this crazy train with us and agreeing to be assistants in maintaining one of the largest mentor classes so far. You put up with numerous emails from me, and I know I drive y'all nuts sometimes. You are my cheerleaders. I look to y'all for a lot of smiles and hugs, and y'all tell me it's going to be okay when I get hard on myself. You take the extra time to not only mentor your proteges, but you mentor the mentors in the program. And for that, I thank you and I appreciate that. To the mentors in the program, I want to thank you for your dedication and compassion. Mentor Tech would not be what it is today without you guys. To the Norman Burts, who make sure that their proteges RSVP on time for the events. To the Benjamin Millers, who take the extra time to tutor their proteges when they're struggling in a class. And to the Mary Elkins and the Derek Flemings that are not only a cheerleader to one protege, but to two. I thank you. I can't say that enough. I thank you and I appreciate everything that you've done. And lastly, to the proteges in the room. Remember that your mentors want you to succeed, that Mentor Tech wants you to succeed. Our mentors have families, and yes, they actually do leave the campus sometimes. They're not always here. So please turn to your mentor at this time and tell them thank you. Before I let you go, I do have a couple of announcements to make. If you have any concerns with your mentorship relationship with your protege, please make sure to tell your MCLs and the staff about those. We can't fix those issues unless we know about them. Also, you need to log in your interactions. There should be at least 4 interactions a month, once a week. Make sure you log them in online because we have to report that data. And in front of you, you have a calendar. There's a calendar of events for this semester. Just to hit some highlighted areas, on January 26th, we're going to have Making the Grade, which is in the English philosophy basement, and it's an overview of key aspects that will help proteges be successful, such as time management and study skills. And we also have financial aid and scholarship night on January 28th, where they will get financial aid information and scholarship information. They will get a whole slew of websites that have potential scholarships for them. You also have in front of you a little index card that has the Mentor After Hours events. Those are the events where we go to different venues in the area, mentors only. It gives you a time to de-stress and relax and network with the other mentors. It's a lot of fun. We have enjoyed it greatly, and it's something that we want to continue to do. We on February 5th, we have the first mentor roundtable in the education basement, and that will be from 12 to 1. And on February 7th, I know this is the one you're all looking forward to, is the Super Bowl party at the Marquette Alumni Center, and it will start at 5:15. We will get out more information on all these events later in the weeks to come. We will also be emailing the community and campus calendar as well. And again, I want to thank you all. Corey, do you have anything else to say?
Can we please, once again, thank Coach Stone for his words of encouragement and motivation. It's refreshing for us to bring in speakers, and we get to do it on the regular for our students to kind of give them that motivation. But it occurred to us when we first started the program after that first semester that we needed to do something to kind of remind the mentors of why you're doing what you're doing. Because as Coach Stone was saying, it is quite often that you don't hear or you don't necessarily know that you're making the difference you signed up to make. And some of our students don't necessarily know how to communicate their appreciation. Some of them don't respond as they should. But I have had the privilege in this position to see students go through the process, come in as freshmen who sort of clueless. Some of them, like Cabby, like, I need some help. Then you have those students like Ricky, who, when he was a student, Rick, you could tell he was going to do it. He just didn't know what it was going to be. But to be able to watch them, both of them were students in Mentor Tech, and they're employees of the university. Cabby works for Tech. Ricky's over in the Honors College. Candace Laster, where's Candace? Stand, Candace. Stand. I'm still older than you, so stand. I like to point out Candace for a couple of reasons. Candace was one of those 46 students, the very first year. Candace and her mentor developed a good bond. Her mentor left the university. Candace remained a part of the program. She became the first student who graduated and became a mentor herself. And now she's over at the Sharp Academic Center, and she's helping to mentor and work with our student athletes. It is people like her. Give her a hand, please. I point them out because it is the students you are mentoring now could be Ricky, could be Cabby, could be Candace. It could be, a number of individuals who have gone on. And as Coach Stone was talking, I remember the calls that I received, or the emails and stuff that we get along the way from those students who didn't get it necessarily while they were getting it, and afterwards realized, I got it, and call back or email back and say that. And there's a student in particular who called me and said, I want to say thank you because you helped me get my first big girl job. And I was thinking, did I write you a letter of recommendation? I was going in my head, Coach, trying to remember how. And I said, thank you for telling me that, but how did I help you? And she said, I didn't know when I got my job that it was the skills I listed that I learned in Mentor Tech that stood out on my resume. Wow. And now she works with the University of Dallas, helping other students. And she recognized, wow, Mentor Tech helped me to learn how to do a resume. Mentor Tech helped me to learn public speaking. Mentor Tech helped me to connect the dots. And it is not so much a testament to Mentor Tech as the unit or the staff or myself, but rather to the mentors and the individuals who give of themselves selflessly, to the different departments on our campus and the colleges that come, to the speakers who give of themselves in turn, because this is a completely volunteer program, and we could not do it without you. And so I just want to remind you, as a final word, that you may not see the seeds grow, but you planted them. And maybe you didn't plant them, but you watered them. And maybe you didn't water them or plant them, but you helped nurture them, and you were the little son that they needed to go forward. So we encourage each and every one of you We thank you for your participation. Please don't hesitate to call or email us if we can assist you in helping your students. We hope that you all have a wonderful semester. Thank you. Oh, and the evaluations are on the table. Please complete those, and that will help us. After that, please meet amongst yourselves. We appreciate you again so much.
See you later. Thank you so much. Take care.